miles an hour. Sunshine this afternoon, high at 73. And for Palm Springs, mostly sunny and 75. I'm Todd Edwards for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. We're looking at your comments right now coming in on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope TV, LinkedIn. Twitter is where it's at. We got Jesse Sanchez over there. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Doing good. A lot of people I'm checking in on as of late. Some people currently exposed to coronavirus. They don't know which one exposed to. I have friends that have been exposed at work, and now certain locations are like, oh, shoot, we're going to wear face masks, whereas they didn't before. So now at least I feel like, okay, at least some are paying attention to this as a serious thing. And I will say at least in some areas they're making sure their employees get, tested right away. Some even wait a few days in order for the testing to get done. But I know I have one friend where one of the workmates did get positive as of late last week, and so they notified everybody there at the workplace. So I'm waiting to hear if it's affected, this one who actually works at a location. But the question of the day is, are we safe from coronavirus? The answer is, I don't know. There's so many estimates right now. Some are estimating that we're in the worst part of it. Others are saying, well, if you get hospitalized, it's not that bad. And I say, if you get hospitalized, just take care of it and then hope that you get good treatment with those that are in your care or that you're putting yourself in their care to take care of you. That's why we go to the hospital. Nobody likes to be stuck in the hospital, right? I think I'm one of the very first to admit I don't like going there. I only go there if it's severe, super severe. But don't be that person who kind of goes, no, and then it gets so severe you need an ambulance to take you. That's the way we never want to get it. So I know I've checked on a couple of friends, and some are like, yeah, I'm fine, of course. Fear is this and this and that. I'm like, well, no, it's called awareness. I'm just checking in on you, making sure you're okay, So I feel sometimes people are a little like not wanting help, but they should want help at least, I mean, I know if I were not feeling well, have you ever suffered from a cold and been like alone in your bed going, man, it would be nice just to get a little help back in the day, like when you were young?
No. I always had my mom. If I was ever sick, she would always be like, oh, no, here's soup, blah, 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 blah. So she would always look after me if I was ever sick. So, no, I never had that.
Well, that's what I mean, though. You have somebody checking in on you, right? I know some have their loved ones, sometimes the husbands check in on their wives, right? Obviously, if you're a boyfriend or girlfriend, usually the girlfriend will check out, and check in on the boyfriend, make sure that they're okay, maybe drop something off on the outside. I know I have a goddaughter who her boyfriend was sick with coronavirus in the last weeks of December. And so she went ahead and got him things and took care of him from outside. They had little date nights every single day on the outside of his house. He didn't want to get her sick, and he was very nice about it. She was very nice about it, and then he got well. But I went ahead and helped her out and said, why don't you spend some time with the Oculus? So he was appreciative, she was appreciative, and they got to spend time with the Oculus and do so safely. Like I say, if there's ever a good time to be sick with coronavirus, if you're going to get well, do so safely from a distance. But again, she took care of him, and I know he is very appreciative of it. And now he's taking care of her through the loss of her cousin who died. So, coronavirus definitely has affected, I know, those that I know very personally. And that's why if you hear me checking in on you, and I know you got coronavirus, I check in because I care. It's not to be imposing. It's simply to say, hey, are you okay? I know I'm having my mom check in on my aunt and my other cousin, because sometimes people get a little inundated with people checking in on them. But I say better to be checked in on than no one checking in on you is my thing, because nobody wants to suffer by themselves, is my point. Because I know there are some cases where people literally, especially if elderly and or just alone, these things can go so sideways so quick that a lot of people end up being found dead in their homes, and nobody even reports that till later. People are like, well, I just thought they were kind of, were MIA for a few days. Well, they didn't return to work, and then everybody checks in, welfare check, and all of a sudden you find a family that's dead because of that. There have been some that are never reported in the news because it's a little too grotesque, but if you have comments like that, or if you have stories to talk about that, I'm pretty sure some of us have those stories, and that's the sad part. But we have to be aware that we got to take care of one another. Okay, so that's what I say. If anything, that's why I always say, hey, let me know. I'll check in on you almost daily to make sure you're good. I want to see you on Instagram. You know what I mean? I want to see a story, seeing that you're okay. You know what I mean? Just let us know you're good, and that way we don't have to worry. I know sometimes we don't see people on our Breakfast Club version of the morning show, and I go, hey, where are you at? In my head, but I don't check in on everybody. But then they go, oh, I've been working really hard, like our good friend Maria, who is in Canada, who is a nurse, and I know she knows the situation better than most, right? She has a family as well, and I know she knows how to check in on people too. So we do think about you, whether you watch or do not, or sometimes have other things to do. And we see the usual suspects, so let's do some shout-outs right now. Carmen Datil, who is watching, thank you for tuning in. Stephanie Reed says, oh, hello, happy editing, this glorious sunshine and snowy awesomeness, busy day ahead for today. We've just got some likes, thank you. Monica Chavez is watching, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to go and share this to my timeline as well, and if you share it, we appreciate you as well. Let's see, Stephanie says, better be safe and careful than be sorry for later, like my grandmother from the Great Depression always told me. Yeah, see, that's actually very smart and very true. Mark Blevins has a little emoji of the face mask thing going on. And then just Stephanie adds, Jesse from Gilmore Girls got his star on the Walk of Fame yesterday. Well, who knew? That was a pretty big thing, obviously, for the Gilmore family there. All right, people, we're going to take a quick little break right after these messages. We got more. Stay tuned right after this.
Mattress Brothers Overstock Mattress Sale. Just $3.99 for a foam encased queen pillow top set. $3.99. Check out Mattress Brothers $3.99 Overstock Sale. Mattress Brothers at 120 West Redlands Boulevard in Redlands. The $3.99 Overstock Sale is on now. $3.99 for a foam encased queen pillow top set. Mattress Brothers also has locations in Hammett, Riverside, and Palm Desert. The $3.99 queen pillow top sale on now. New teen driver in the family? Just bought your first home? Have a new bundle of joy? Every life change matters, and by reviewing your insurance policy with Little & Sons Insurance Services, you could be benefiting with big savings. Little & Sons Insurance Services, a family-owned insurance agency who values the old-fashioned way of doing business. They work for you, not an insurance company, meaning your best interests are at heart. They can custom tailor your policy based on specific needs at a price you can afford. Home, auto, or business, you're covered. Call 1-844-9-LITTLE. That's 1-844-9-LITTLE, or go online to little, the letter N, sons.com. That's littlensons.com. Standard time is here. That means shorter days and cooler nights that make you want to stay inside. Don't get caught in the cold. Franklin Mechanical Systems can do a preventative maintenance check on your heating unit. Get it working right. For cleaning, repair, or a new installation, call them for a free estimate. Franklin Mechanical Systems, for all your residential and commercial heating and air conditioning needs. Call their Beaumont office at 951-845-1000. That's 951-845-1000, and stay warm today.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. Let us know where your stories are taking place. We know you guys got a bunch of them, and we appreciate it. For those of you tuning in, what's it like in your neck of the woods as well, especially with the weather? I know a lot of extreme weather is happening around the world. I know, Jesse, you've kind of been watching the world scene. What's going on in the neck of the woods, or where you're watching?
Okay, I don't know if it's me, but is everything getting colder?
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like everything's just been like really, really chilly lately these past couple months.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that. I'm looking at the U.S. Northeast, and I mentioned this last week. There was another huge event happening, which here in Southern California, the coldest we really get is the mountains, right? I don't know if you've seen the snow up in, you know, yeah. So we feel some of that. But having said that, millions of Americans woke up to the coldest air of the season today, actually. Yeah. And some of you are in these areas. Temperatures plummeted overnight as an Arctic blast moved into the northeastern United States. By morning, the wind chill, what temperature it feels like, had dropped near or below, get this, Jesse, 0 degrees Fahrenheit in several areas along Interstate 95. Remember, we talked about Interstate 95 having some problems last week, including New York City and Boston. Meanwhile, parts of the upstate New York and northern Maine were 30 or 40 below zero. Yikes. That is super frigid. It says the frigid air produced blinding lake effect snow bands in western New York and Pennsylvania. Up to 30 inches of snow fell in 24 hours. 30 inches of snow, Jesse? That's almost unheard of in some areas, right? I mean, maybe 2 feet of snow, that's like 24 inches, but that's practically 2.5 feet, right?
Wow, yeah, I can't even imagine that much snow. I've never seen that much snow, so I can't I can't fathom it. But dang, I kind of want to just like dig in there and make like an igloo or something.
You would want to make an igloo.
I would.
But yeah, there you go. So, for our friends across the states, I will say this. This is what we're looking at, and that is freezing. Okay, look at that. Pittsburgh on there. Man, Jesse, I don't know if you could see that, but those numbers just make you go, I'm good being in Southern California, not going to lie. Or on vacation for that matter, right? This is like the time to vacation outside of that area. So I feel bad for the people that are in those areas. And I know you're thinking, it's mid-January, but these are temperatures that you'll probably see in probably November and December. Not right now. I think we'd start kind of somewhat coming out of that. So this storm is a pretty big one. -6 in Chicago. Yikes. St. Louis, 13. Kansas City, 23. Roanoke. I always like saying that. Roanoke. Washington, D.C., 10. So, yeah, it is freezing. When you see people freezing their butts off, now you understand how cold those temperatures are. But, I always say this. There's a situation that will happen, especially when it comes to our food, right? Because some things are just not going to grow this coming season. So be careful with that. Temperatures are not expected to warm up much in the afternoon, with numbers in the teens for Boston and New York City, though the wind chill will still be close to zero at times. It's forecast to continue for the next 24 hours. The wind chill is expected to be in the teens and single digits along the I-95 corridor on Wednesday morning. In other words, when you travel, Jesse, what are some recommendations for safe travel now? Now that you know you could be stuck on a highway for, 36 hours?
Hey, yeah, I know. Bring food? Why would I? No, God, no. I hope that never happens again. I can't even fathom. You know what? I would just leave my car and I start walking home.
That's almost impossible because it's so freezing, Jesse. So you're forgetting. It gets very, very frigid there. Okay. Have you ever been in -degree weather ever?
No, I haven't. The coldest I've ever gone was here was 27 degrees. So yeah, in California, well, where I am, it does. I'm usually between 70 and 110. So
Yeah. That's our gauge, right? Yeah.
yeah.
No. You would die. Sorry. Man, between you and natural disasters, I see why they scare you now. Rosalie Huerta Madrigal says hello to everybody. Viviana says good morning, everyone. Patricia Sauer says good morning. I hope they are helping the homeless. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think you can be homeless there. I think you would freeze to death. Melinda Monteverde says good morning. Good morning, Melinda. Okay, so look, my point is this. Check in on people if they're sick with coronavirus in cold of winter. that's a whole other ball game, right? Nobody wants to be in that. Or if your electricity goes out, you want to make sure you have plenty of blankets, right, in maybe your vehicle. Make sure you have good extra battery storage for your cell phones. Go ahead, Jesse. What are you thinking?
What's also good to have are these little hand warmers. All you got to do is just like break the little seal, and they'll stay warm for like 8 hours.
Yeah,
Oh, those things are magical.
yeah. Actually, well, that's smart. Yeah. So there you go. So this is interesting. Look at some things here. I know we got some updates on the situation between Betty White and Bob Saget. I don't want to bring the house down. I know you're not happy about that, but it seems that Bob Saget had an autoimmune disease that didn't help his situation. So he worked for years to support the Scleroderma Research Foundation after his sister died from the disease. Yeah, so that's not good. And according to this, he became an outspoken advocate about the rare autoimmune disease. Now, his sister, whose name was Gay Saget, was a school teacher near Philadelphia. She was 44 when she was diagnosed with systemic scleroderma. She got treatment, but it was just her treating her symptoms with drugs like prednisone and cortisone. She had to move to LA to live with her parents because she needed help. She passed away 2 years later. Okay. Now, evidently, it turns out he himself, according to the latest, again, there's still more information coming in about this, where although it's rare, it's an autoimmune connective tissue and rheumatic disease that causes inflammation in the skin, and it can lead to inflammation in other parts of the body. It could cause the skin to form hard, tight patches that can grow or shrink and sometimes suddenly disappear. Now, in mild cases, it affects the skin, but in severe cases, called systemic scleroderma, it spreads throughout systems in the body and can damage your blood vessels and internal organs, such as the heart, lungs, and kidneys. If it spreads through the body, it affects each organ in different ways. It can develop scar tissue, which can make it harder to breathe. That's not good, I can tell you right now. Scleroderma in the kidneys can lead to elevated blood pressure and rapid kidney failure. Scarring of heart tissue could lead to congestive heart failure, and if it reaches the digestive system, it can cause heartburn, difficulty swallowing, bloating, and diarrhea. Yeah, that's no fun. There's no direct cure, and instead of different treatments that can target the symptoms of the disease, such as steroid creams for the skin inflammation, blood pressure medications for any lung or kidney problems, immune suppressants, and over-the-counter pain relievers. His sister was diagnosed at age 44, died in 94. He said she needed so much help. It's incredibly painful to have a loved one experience a condition like this. It's a very painful disease. My family's still having post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't know how my parents endured. Well, watching her endure, he became an advocate for more research into it. He even directed the TV movie For Hope about a young woman with it, based on his sister's experience, which helped raise awareness of the disease. He was on board of the directors for Scleroderma Research Foundation for more than a decade and hosted their events for 25 years, including the annual Cool Comedy Hot Cuisine fundraiser. They raised $25 million through the years for research and treatment. So something very close to him. But having said that, now we're starting to get kind of more information on this as to it did it affect him as well. But if you want to donate to the Scleroderma Research Foundation in his memory, all you have to do is go visit support.srfcure.org, and you can find more information right there on it. And then you can find out the situation on not only what is obviously affecting people that I would imagine a lot of people don't even know. I mean, I can't imagine somebody saying, "Hey, I have scleroderma," right? It sounds like you need to go to the dermatologist for it, right? It doesn't sound as severe as it obviously is, right?
Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad, although I've never actually heard about it. So,
Yeah, these are one of those things that you may not hear about it, but there you go. So And I guess he didn't have it. I think the headline kind of was a little offsetting, but they're saying if you want to support, then this is what he supported up until his death. So that's evidently we still don't know. So I don't want to give that information. I apologize for that. But he has always supported it, and so they're saying if you want to help support his situation, they're bringing awareness by that. But I guess evidently we're still wondering what is the situation there. As far as Betty White goes, what did you find out about that, Jesse?
That she was an angel and God recalled her.
Oh, you know what? You know what? That's the best way to say it. It really is. But I will say this because I have friends and family who actually do struggle with this stroke. Okay. According.
I know nothing about that.
Huh?
I know nothing about what a stroke actually is. So.
Yeah, and that's why people kind of need to know, especially because a stroke can happen in so many different ways. There's so many different versions of strokes. Betty White's cause of death has been revealed. Although she passed away at age 99 on December 31st, she died to a cerebrovascular accident, according to a death certificate obtained by People magazine on Monday. TMZ was the first to report the news, as they usually do, but it commonly is known as a stroke, loss of blood flow to part of the brain, which damages brain tissue. It's typically caused by blood clots and broken blood vessels in the brain. Now, according to the death certificate, she suffered a stroke 6 days before her death. So that means that she had it, but it was a slow venture into death for her. They say it was a mild stroke. She died peacefully in her sleep. But that means obviously her brain was suffering through it all, right? According to her longtime agent and friend Jeff, said Betty passed in her sleep peacefully without pain. To me, this is the most important thing. It brings me comfort as anything else is private to Betty. His agent and her agent and close friend Jeff confirmed in the statement on December 31st that she did die peacefully. And he said, even though Betty was about to be 100, I thought she would live forever. I will miss her terribly, and so will the animal world that she loved so much. I don't think Betty ever feared passing because she always wanted to be with her most beloved husband, Alan Ludden, who she believed she would be with him again. So he had to kind of come back and say, hey, it wasn't due to COVID that she died, but now that they've done the research, they're starting to understand that her stroke was a situation that kind of led to her eventuality of nights later. So that makes sense. Strokes can be very difficult to manage, and I know I have several family members that have had a stroke, all in like a span of several weeks, actually, between November and December. So I will say this: I know my grandmother died of a stroke, an eventual stroke, but she had multiple strokes. Sometimes it doesn't take one; it takes a lot of them to do it. Sometimes you don't even know it's a stroke. It's not. You look kind of confused there, Jesse. You okay there?
Yeah, no. Like I know of like the stroke, like of a stroke. I just didn't know how it forms and stuff. So it's kind of shocking. So if I lose blood to my brain, that's what causes a stroke?
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot more. Okay, let me put it this way. I've interviewed people with strokes, okay, or that end up finding out that they had a stroke, and there's no one size fits all. That's the hard thing about strokes. That's why if you feel you have, and if it's safe to do so, please do get necessary attention on it, okay? Because it's different in everyone, all right? But here are some very general signs of stroke in men and women, okay? If you have sudden numbness or weakness in the face, arm, or leg, especially on one side of the body, okay? Sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or difficulty understanding speech, that could be a situation, okay? Sudden trouble seeing in one or both eyes, sudden trouble walking, dizziness, loss of balance, or lack of coordination, or a sudden severe headache with no known cause. Now, and these are the things that they say keep in mind for a stroke. Acting fast, FAST, can help stroke patients get the treatments they need. The stroke treatments that work best are available only if the stroke is recognized and diagnosed within 3 hours of the first symptoms. They can be so subtle, you just think, why do I feel weird? Okay, why do I feel lightheaded? Why do I feel odd? Stroke patients may not be eligible for these if they don't arrive at the hospital in time, and this is true, 100%. If you do not know what it is, sometimes even the doctors won't figure it out. That's why you have to be very mindful of it. Here it is. Face. Ask the person to smile. Does one side of the face droop? Okay, if you see that, they may have had a stroke. Now, everybody thinks of Sylvester Stallone, right? Right? You know, that would be a sign, for example. Arms. Ask the person to raise both arms. Does one arm drift downward? Speech. Ask the person to repeat a simple phrase. Is the speech slurred or strange? Right? They didn't drink. They just have a hard time speaking, right? Like, you know, hey, you know, my name is Aaron Sanchez, you know, but I have a hard time speaking like that. And then time. If you see any of these signs, call 911 right away. Now, I will say this. I have had experts that I speak to eventually about this. That's why I know a little too much about this. Because when I was 27, I exhibited each one of these problems, but I didn't know what the heck it was. And even though I finally took myself to the doctor, they wanted to see if I had a heart attack. It wasn't a stroke that they were determining. And I feel that if they would have known that sooner than later, they would have gotten ahead of it. But I didn't know to ask for it because I wasn't in media. I wasn't around people that did this. Now, I remember talking to a basketball player who was part of the Clippers who ended his career. He didn't know what happened, but he was literally on the floor, unable to move for a good like half hour. And what his coach had said, well, you're obviously just exhausted, drink more water. But it was worse than that. So if you don't get it treated, it can get worse and worse and worse in people. Some people may have different types of strokes. There's minor strokes, there's major strokes, and then there's kind of in between. Seizures are a whole other thing. So a stroke is not the same as a seizure. That's very important to know. A seizure is very obvious, right? You're like on the floor kind of convulsing. That's a different situation altogether. That one, you know you need a doctor. But this one is so subtle, you sometimes don't know it exists and what to do when you need to do next, okay? So some of you know people and or friends that might have had these things. If you do, make sure they get the necessary care, make sure they get the necessary meds, make sure that they can treat it and be on them about it. Because I know I have friends that have had these things, but, you know, they don't take care of it as much. I only know because I remember telling a grandmother, I says, do take care of this. This is how my grandma died, and I don't want you to die like this, so don't treat it. Because some women, especially like I call them the patriarchs of the family, they're the ones that kind of like, no, I'm fine, no. They're kind of like the guy in you know what I mean? We all know how certain guys are, no, I'm fine, right? And there's some, right? They take care of the whole family, right? I can see your mom being that way, just so you know, right?
Yeah, you know what? She'll be sick for like a day or two and then she'll get back to work. I mean, if I'm really sick, I'll be like, oh my God, I've died.
Yeah.
Mom, oh me.
Yeah. Well, at least you admit it, man. You know what I mean? Like, there's no shame in your game there. But my point is this. Just be aware of it. And if you guys, again, suspect it and you do need to go to the hospital like I did. And I remember I was like this. I was 27. I remember it very clearly. And they thought later I had MS. It wasn't MS. It was a stroke. And I figured that out later, but it was too late to kind of figure that out. So I go, oh, well, whatever. When it happens, it's going to happen, right? But my point is, I remember my left side just felt kind of numb-ish. And when I was walking kind of limped, you know, and I'm like, I didn't know what it was because at the age of 27, I didn't know about stroke. I'm like, I'm too young to have a stroke, right? It was the last thing I was thinking about. So they were like, did you have a heart attack or not? But the doctors were not smart enough to just say, oh, maybe you had a stroke. So if it could happen to me at 27, it can happen to anyone is my point. So just be mindful of it. Be aware of it. And if you feel weird signs, teeth chattering and or, you know, sudden confusion or just hard to think, take care of it, okay? Because evidently Betty, you know, worst case scenario. And again, you know, she's 99. You know what I mean? People are used to hearing people that are seniors and above that get strokes, but they're not used to hearing it in younger generational people. But it really does happen. So be careful out there. Make sure you're ahead of it. And then you'll be fine. All right, people? Okay, we're going to take a quick little break here. Mark Blevins says, hashtag Betty White, rest in peace. All right, people, we'll take a quick little break. We'll be right back right after this.
Are you paying rent because you think you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you renting because you don't believe that you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? The Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com, license under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Hello, listeners. Christopher here from The Christopher Show. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about CBD. Now, CBD is not approved by the FDA as of yet. Myself, as well as millions of other people across the USA, have used it with help for pain, anxiety, sleep, and other conditions. Now, you know, all CBD products are not equal. It really matters on where you get the CBD from. Now, I suggest you get it from a qualified pharmacist, and I happen to know of one. It's at Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, California. They only carry pharmaceutical-grade CBD products of the highest quality. So if you want the best, you go to Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions. Their staff is there to help you with all your CBD, pharmacy, and mobility needs. They're located at 1680 East 6th Street in Beaumont, California. Give them a call, 951-845-8252. Once again, it's Your Pharmacy Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, 951-845-8252. Once again, it's Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, California, 951-845-8252.
Tried shipping a package lately? It's amazing how difficult and time-consuming it can be. Packing envelopes, boxes, second-day ground, next-day air, it's all enough to give you a headache. Next time, do yourself a favor, go with the pros at the UPS store in Beaumont. They'll pack it right and let you know all your shipping options. You can also take care of everyday tasks like copies, faxing, notary services, and live scan fingerprinting. And while you're there, pay your Edison, gas company, and Verizon bills. Open extended hours Monday through Saturday. The UPS store in Beaumont, located in the Oak Valley Plaza at 1440 Beaumont Avenue. Call 951-769-5956. That's 951-769-5956. Online at the upsstorelocal.com/5027 or Google 5027.
We're in the studio with Fred Penny, managing attorney with Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers. Fred, tell us what makes you the #1 choice for handling personal injury cases.
Most of our firm is made up of former insurance company trial lawyers with extensive experience handling all types of personal injury matters. We believe that gives us a distinct advantage.
That's Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers with locations throughout California. For a free consultation, go to pennyandassociates.com or call 1-800-616-4-LAW. That's 1-800-616-4-LAW.
The Fat Greek in Yucaipa, where you can get authentic, delicious, true Greek food. Authentic gyros, Greek salads, pitas, falafel, hamburgers, burritos, and oh yes, baklava. The Fat Greek has a large selection of wines, ice-cold domestic, and imported Greek beers. Come on down to the Fat Greek located on Yucaipa Boulevard in the city of Yucaipa. Open 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. The Fat Greek has delivery, drive-through, sit-down, and a catering service. So bring in a family or give Nicholas and Christopher a call at 909-797-6018. Eat Greek, live long. Remember, if you want authentic Greek food, it's the Fat Greek in Yucaipa.
Back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. Big shout out to Patricia Summer, who says some good stuff there. Algenia says, sending love to all of you. Yes, we take care of everybody. And the puppy, we have to take care of ourselves. Yes, very true, very true. Mark Blevin says, State, you're in good health. And we appreciate that. Janina Dorsey also tuning in as well. Jesse, I'm seeing something that we've been saying for quite some time here on the morning show about N95 masks. And what do you know about cloth masks, or just any mask for that matter?
Not much. I just know the KN95s or the N95s are the ones that have the filters. So not too much.
Okay, that's fine. It's one of those where I think it's good to revisit. We visited it in 2020, okay, and then I kind of laid off because people were not wanting to hear it. And then I see people that just kind of put, and I'm one of those that in situations where I forget a face mask, there's been maybe a handful of maybe 3 times where I go, oh shoot, and then I can't find my face mask, right? Like maybe, when you go to fuel up your vehicle, I remember one time I just wasn't thinking. I remember fueling my vehicle, or wanting to fuel my vehicle, and I'm like, okay, let me go pay for it on the inside, because sometimes that little card reader doesn't work, and then they say go inside. So I went inside, and the guy yelled at me like, "Put on your face mask." I'm like, oh, that's right, duh. And so I had to go back to the car. I couldn't find it, so I'm like, all right. So I put a scarf over me, right? So I'm one of those that have done that worst case scenario because I can't find my face mask in the moment that I need it. And I've done a couple other times when I need to use the restroom because I can't find my face mask, right? So my point is, it happens, right? But more consistently than not, I try to keep now at least a box in my vehicle. So if I do kind of misplace it, or it falls on the wayside, or it falls outside, I have something with me, right? I try to always do it, and I try to put it around. I don't have one with me right here right now that I can reach for, but I usually put it around my wrist. I found a very smart way to do that. Put it around your wrist. My friend does it, and I'm like, oh, it's always available, right? Just put it around your hand, so it's always dangling there if you have it off, right? Because sometimes you have to eat or something, and you misplace it, right? But the Centers for Disease Control, that I can finally get behind on this information, are now considered recommending that people upgrade their masks to N95 or KN95 models to help fight the fast-spreading variant. Okay, and the Washington Post recently reported this. Now, we've been saying this for quite some time, all right? But I'm going to go ahead and say, good, glad they're doing this, because I remember when they said, no, because they said we had a shortage. We don't have a shortage anymore. And there's a reason that we need these rather than not. Okay, so I'm going to kind of just flash this up so you guys understand the difference between not having one and then having one. This is what they look like more often than not. Now, some are white, but they're very much more sealed up around the face. They're not dangling below the nose. They're not easily like, oh, okay, and I know you've all seen it because we've all been there, where the other little face masks that they kind of get, I mean, you could get them on the transit system, technically, the little tiny ones. And some people are wearing double masks, by the way. When they're those thin, they wear double masks. These, all you have to do is wear the one mask. But it's very sealant. Now I will say on this one, here's what I have had happen, which is why I like to carry a box with me. Sometimes the little bands will break, right? Sometimes it breaks around your neck and or your head, and then you're like, oh, I can't use it, right? But if you have one that you can use, try to use one like this, okay? Now, the KN95s come in white. It's hard to find the really nice, cool black ones that look cool, but it's better than a scarf. It's better than a cloth. It's better than the majority of those because these are the kind that they would have in the hospitals, okay? So if you or someone you know has coronavirus and you're going to visit them, or even if they just have the flu or a regular cold, this is something you would want to put around your nose in order to not get sick if they sneeze into the air, they breathe into the air, or anything else, okay? Now, some wonder about those little shatter, well, they call them, not shatter, they don't call them shatter, but those little plastic things that go around your face. Those are good only if somebody splatters something at you. You know what I'm talking about, Jesse?
Yeah, I see people wearing those. I'm like, oh my God, you're going to go to surgery or something?
Yes.
Let it cover all in your face.
Yeah, well, which sometimes I see people just wearing that without a face mask. So they're not thinking. You got to seal up your area where you breathe, right? You want to seal it up like that, you know? But if you do this, right, you still breathe it in to your nose and into your ventilation system known as your lungs. You're still going to get sick, okay? Now, these are good, right? Those are good in certain environments, like in a hospital, right? But even then, goggles are better if you're going to wear anything at all, right? Now, I will say this. If you're immune compromised, you should want to wear goggles, okay, to be safe. Because immune compromise means either you have HIV, you've got you could be fighting cancer, and your radiation levels have, killed off your immunity a lot, right? There are certain diseases that you already are immunocompromised. You want to do this. So I always say, don't judge those people, but those people need to be more safe than sorry. even wearing gloves and being very, okay about that for the time being. Now, some don't have to worry about that, right? So you kind of take your own life in your own means. And I'm not saying, go crazy with it, but if you know you already have a situation, even kidney disease could be a problem. So there are pre-existing situations that if you get and or Delta or a combination thereof, it could really, really exacerbate the situation. So I do recommend, again, look for an N95. Those are basically the U.S. versions, okay? But if you cannot find an N95, and they're not expensive anymore. They're as little as I've seen as many as for $3, as little as $1. It just depends where you go. In the city that I live in Monterey Park, pretty much it's $1 for a 20, and those are KN95s, known as the I hate to say it this way, but I'm just going to say it, the Asian equivalent. Okay, N95s are known as the U.S. standard. KN95s are the I don't know how to say it without saying it wrong, but Asian standard of it, okay? They have an influx of them, they sent them, but they're basically equivalent to each other. Does that make sense? I know sometimes people get confused by that. And then there's knockoffs. There are knockoffs.
It makes sense. It's just sometimes you'll see the KN95, you'll be like, wait, I want an N95. I don't want some knockoff version.
Yeah.
So
but
that's what I
yeah, and if you have little print on it, more often than not, and if you see the main things around the nose on top, and it gets a form fitting, and it goes all around the face, that is pretty much an N95. Okay, just kind of know that, and then know it shouldn't be drop it below your nose. That's number one. Okay, if you do that, you'll be ahead of it. I don't know if everybody has that, but again, I also recommend. I really got to bring it. It's a UV box. It's really good, and then you just drop it in there. My mom and I do it pretty religiously, and we rotate those, and then we clean them, or some call it scrubbing, and it can have a cold virus, and the UV light hits it for a good 3 minutes. Boom, you're good to go. So it works, and you know what? I don't have to spend up the wazoo for face masks. So there you go. Let's see. Algenia says, P.S. Let's see. Uncle Joe is Atlanta, and a lot of Secret Service traffic is moving. Great. I heard. Everybody be safe today. Wear the mask. Yes, exactly. Ellie is tuning in from also Atlanta. I think we got to go visit Atlanta soon. Maybe Georgia.
I'm down with visiting in Atlanta.
I know, me too. Okay, says, good morning to all. I hear you. That happened many times with me. Finally, I decided to get a box in my car as well. By the way, as many nice colors available. Be careful out there. How many nice colors are there? Because the green ones are kind of like, you know what I mean? I feel like you're going into a hospital with those, like, nurse, right? The black ones are the cool ones, but you got to make sure they do the right thing. Anyway. Oh, and this is news too, by the way. I think a lot of people are going to be happy about this, although we did talk about this last week. To my surprise, even though people are paying like $150, $140 for a test for coronavirus, what did we learn about testing kits at the Walgreens and CVS and other places, Jesse? How much are they?
They're actually pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So
that's the $20.
Yeah, and it's just the problem is it's like, how accurate is it?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. And I did have a friend in Las Vegas who took the first one was a false negative, the second one was a positive, and I'm not gonna lie, it looks exactly like a pregnancy test. It looks almost like. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool and kind of weird at the same time. But starting Saturday. Okay, private health insurance will be required to cover up to 8, get this, 8 home health tests. Okay, so you know what that means. Everybody's going to go get some right away. I guarantee it. The Biden administration announced the change Monday as it looks to lower costs and make testing for the virus more convenient amid frustrating situations. Under the new policy, Americans will be able to either purchase home testing kits for free under their insurance or submit receipts for the test for reimbursement up to the monthly per person limit. A family of 4, for instance, could be reimbursed for up to, get this, 32 tests per month. Wow. That means they're in it to win it because they know people are going to get it and then some. PCR tests and rapid tests ordered or administered by a health provider will continue to be covered by insurance with no limit. Now, I will say the more accurate ones are the PCR tests. Okay, these advanced ones that say that they're advanced are very well. They're at home stuff, right? So take it with a grain of salt. But according to this, the federal government will launch a website to begin making 500 million at-home COVID tests available via mail. The administration is scaling up emergency rapid testing sites in areas experiencing the greatest surges in cases. The insurer-covered testing will dramatically reduce costs for many Americans. The administration hopes that by easing a barrier to more regular at-home testing, it can help slow the spread of the virus, get kids back into school more quickly, and help people gather safely. In other words, if you have it, get tested. If you have it, get home, right? That should be the answer, right? Get home, and if you have it, get it treated if it gets worse. Okay, there's ways to determine that. If your blood oxygen levels dip under a certain number, or if you start vomiting blood, as I know I've had family members do, start getting that treatment right away. Okay, do not delay on it. It could be fatal. Okay. These are the things that they're not really sure. I feel like they don't want to scare everybody or make everybody go to the hospital. But better to be in the hospital with trained professionals that know what it is that they see happening and have a chance to live the next day. Oh, look, Ellie says you both are very welcome to Atlanta. Well, there you go. We got to make it out to Atlanta sometime soon. Although I hear it's cold out there, so I don't really know. It's nice and warm here in Southern California. You should come to Southern California first. And there you go. All right, I'm going to take a quick little break. We'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Join Yvette Walker every Tuesday at 4 o'clock p.m. on KMET ABC News Radio, 1490 AM, FM 98.1, and Internet KMET TV for the Southern California Business Report. The show is dedicated to highlighting successful businesses and the individuals behind them. Yvette interviews the incredible people managing these enterprises that range from awe-inspiring sole proprietors to world-renowned organizations. The Southern California Business Report, Tuesdays at 4 o'clock p.m.
What is commitment and why is it so hard to achieve? The new book, Committed, by Dr. Carmen Hara and Alexandra Hara, will make you reevaluate the way you think about love. Committed is a relationship manual that unfolds in 2 parts: the work you need to perform on the inside and the 7 distinct archetypes you will encounter on the outside. Committed, a new book available on Amazon by Dr. Carmen Hara and Alexandra Hara, will help to find and keep the love you deserve. Committed, available now on Amazon.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Jesse Sanchez, join me in the wings over there. Jesse, what's going on around the world?
Oh, there's so much going on right now. I'm currently looking at a funny news story and just things to watch on TV, pretty much.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Any recommendations?
What was I watching? I don't know if I would recommend it because it's I guess an independent film, but it's Finnish or something like that. So it's about Nazis living on the moon.
Okay.
So
That's odd, but okay.
It's called Iron Sky. It came out
yes. Okay,
it
yeah.
came out like 10 years ago. They made a sequel. I just started watching it. I was like, how have I not watched this movie until now?
Okay, that makes sense. Well, you know what? Hey, you know what? If they gotta live somewhere, let them not live here. That's all I got to say about that. I got. Look, you know what? All I know is I'm glad we're not in that situation right now. Okay, a lot of crazy stuff happening around the world. I will go to this though for hope which you probably don't think is much, but
Anything.
it is.
Okay, go for it.
A Maryland man has lived for 3 days with a special heart in his chest. What kind of
my
heart, you ask?
Please don't let it be one of his relatives. Please don't be one of his relatives.
It depends. I'm not sure if he called him Wilbur.
Wilbur, a horse?
No, Wilbur could be a pig.
He has a pig heart?
Yeah, 100%. The surgery at the University of Maryland Medical Center marks the first time, Jesse, the first time. This is like history. This is stuff you won't hear of. A gene-edited pig has been used as an organ donor. Dave Bennett, who's 57, agreed to be the first to risk the experimental surgery, hoping it would give him a shot at making it home to his Maryland duplex and his beloved dog, Lucky. Not gonna lie, I'm wondering what Lucky's gonna think about that dog, about that pig heart. His son David said Sunday, 2 days after his father's life-extending surgery, says, "This is nothing short of a miracle. That's what my dad needed, and that's what I feel like he got." In the 9-hour surgery, doctors replaced his heart with one from a 1-year-old, 240-pound pig gene edited and bred specifically for this purpose. Yikes! Not sure how the pig's family felt, but there you go.
Wow, that's fascinating. Hopefully he survives this whole process.
Yep.
And if you know what this means, that means a shorter wait list on the organ donor list, so we don't have to wait for people to pass away.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm not gonna lie. I got a couple theories in my head right now. I'm gonna wait to see what happens with this guy. He's breathing on his own without a ventilator. He remains on an ECMO machine that does half of pump blood throughout his body. Doctors plan to slowly wean him off. Scientists have worked for decades to figure out how to save human lives with animal organs. More than 100,000 people sit on organ transplant waitlists, suffering terrible symptoms and side effects. 6,000 of them die every year, waiting in vain for someone else's tragedy to provide them with a kidney, heart, or lung. Pigs have similar organs to humans. If those organs could be used in transplants, the waiting would end, according to this news article. People who would never be considered candidates for transplants, who never make it into transplant lists, could look forward to family dinners, playing with their kids or grandkids, and simply going back to living their lives. So, that's the promise of what's called xenotransplantation, and took a major leap forward with his surgery Friday. So they say it's a big breakthrough. They're thrilled about it. Let's see what happens next. And you know what? If they could perfect it, I will say this. Someone's going to eat bacon. All right, people, we're going to take a quick break. We'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same channel. Bye-bye, everyone. Poor Wilbur.